Plays. In our series of great plays, the National Broadcasting Company presents this afternoon one of the most delightful comedies ever produced on the American stage. This fantastic satire on big business is as true to life today as when it was first produced on Broadway in 1924. It is The Beggar on Horseback, the product of one of the most famous teams of playwright collaborators, George S. Kaufman and Marc Connelly. This radio production stars Alexander Kirkland and Gene Muir. Special music has been written by Tom Bennett and will be conducted by Joseph Stopak. Your enjoyment of the Great Plays series can be greatly enhanced by your obtaining a copy of The Listener's Aid, published through the cooperation of the University Press of Columbia University in New York. Listen at the end of this program to learn how you may obtain a copy of the Great Plays Drama Guide containing complete information about the series. Beggar on Horseback is a dream play. In fact, practically all of its action takes place in that land of fantasy to which we are magically transported on the wings of sleep. Our leading character is one Neil McRae, a struggling young composer, who, in order to continue his work on his serious music, is doing orchestrations for a publisher of popular music. He is also teaching piano to a Miss Gladys Cady, daughter of a tycoon. In other words, a very rich man who has made a lot of money in big business. As our play opens, however, we find our characters very much wide awake and in the land of reality. As our curtain rises, we find Neil talking with Cynthia Mason, a lovely and most practical young lady who has a room just across the hall in the boarding house where Neil lives.
You have people coming to tea, Neil, remember?
Oh, good heavens, what time is it?
Nearly 5. I suppose you have everything ready.
Why, yes, I've got it. At least I think... Oh, look, be a darling, Cynthia, and help me, will you?
Are you sure you have everything?
Well, I think so.
Do you remember when you last had any tea?
The other day?
You have 3 leaves left.
4.
And did you know that your toast machine was burnt out?
Oh, yes, I forgot. Well, I'm sure there's some tea, though. I remember... Nope. I used the last of it early this morning. I'll run right out and
get some.
Then
you were up all night.
Well, not exactly.
You've been sitting up making orchestrations for that cheap little music publisher. Neil, it's like copying bad paintings. You must stop.
Well, I'll go out and get some tea.
No, I'll bring everything over from my place.
Good Lord, that again. That cabaret orchestra across the street. It begins at 5 every afternoon.
You are nervous, aren't you?
Huh? No, I just don't like that music.
How many Cadys are coming to tea, Neil?
All of them. 4.
Are they so terribly rich?
Lord, yes, millions.
Where did Mr. Cady make all his money?
Well, that's funny. I don't even know. Manufacture something. I had to ask them, Cynthia. For heaven's sake, stay and help out.
Oh, well, I'll stay a little while.
Try to get away.
Neil, how old is Gladys Cady?
Gladys? Oh, 22 or 23? I don't know. Why?
How soon will they be here?
Any minute, I guess. Why all the questions?
Oh, I just wondered. Hey, look, why don't you take one of those pills the doctor left before they come and another one later on?
Now, look, there's nothing the matter with me.
I know there isn't.
What do these do, make me sleep?
They'll quiet you.
But I don't dare go to sleep. In the first place, the Cadys are coming
Have I got to scold you?
No.
Look at this portfolio. You didn't let them give you more to do.
Oh, well, hardly any. It's all right.
It isn't all right. Oh, I wouldn't mind if it were something decent. But it's perfectly sickening to think of your genius being choked to death in this way.
Look, darling, I'll work on the symphony soon, honestly.
Then make up for it by more hack work. I wish someone would subsidize you.
Well, that would be nice.
Here's some water. Take this pill.
Oh, all right. But there's nothing the matter with me. Would you believe that people actually enjoy that? Well, I've got one here that'll be next month's national anthem. There aren't any words to it yet, but it's going to be called Sweet Mama.
Don't, Neil. Play the second movement of your symphony.
You want to hear it again?
Yes.
You call it the second movement because there isn't any first. You understand this is just a movement. It's, course, I never have a pencil. Oh, thanks. It's just a sketch, not finished, you know.
Oh, but it's going to be. And soon.
There. I bet that's the Cadys.
Good heavens, I'll go get the tea things. I'll go the back way.
How are you, Mrs. Cady? Gladys?
After all these years.
Hello, Neil.
Well, Neil, my boy.
Hello, Mr. Cady.
Hello there.
Oh, how are you, Homer?
Not so good.
Oh, Homer's had a good deal of trouble from time to time. Now, sit here, Homer, in this easy chair.
Oh, yes, of course. Sit down, everybody. I'm sorry
Oh, that's all right. We'll just settle ourselves. I wonder if I... Oh, are you all right, Homer?
Yes.
You mind if I use your phone, Neil?
Oh, no, of course not, Mr. Cady.
Thanks. I left the office a little early.
Let me see. What have you heard from home, Neil?
Portland,
I brought you some candy for your
8262.
tea, Neil.
Oh, thanks, Gladys.
Let me talk to Burgess.
Neil, you say you
Burgess?
haven't heard anything
Any
from
word
home?
from
Why, it seems to me
653?
I
Hush,
heard something
Mother.
about... I heard
I'll tell you
something
what to
about
do.
someone
Now,
else
we
in your
ought to send
family
a
moving
tracer.
away
That's
from
right.
Livingston.
Well, I'll tell you what to do. If you don't hear by 6 o'clock, send a tracer. That's all. Well, much obliged, Neil. When I get a foot away from a telephone, I'm just lost.
Yes. Well, we're just patient. We're going to have some tea and things pretty soon now.
Match?
How's that?
Match.
Oh, yes. Right here, Mr. Cady.
See, Mama, isn't the room cute? Oh, yes, indeed, Gladys. There's the piano over there. Oh, yes. Neil must play something for us.
Well, it's certainly very nice. We've been hearing quite a bit about you, Neil.
Is that so?
Yes, here you've become quite a musician since you went away from Livingston.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Gladys has been telling us so we thought we'd come and find out for ourselves. Gave up a golf game to do it, too. Play golf?
No, I don't.
Well, everybody ought to. Great exercise. Keeps a man fit for business. I'd make Homer do it if he wasn't so delicate.
Comfortable, Homer?
Here are the tea things, Neil.
Oh, Cynthia. I want you to meet Miss Mason. She's brought the tea things.
Oh, I see.
Mrs. Cady, and of course you know Gladys.
Yes.
How are you, Miss Cady?
And Mr. Cady.
How do you do?
And another Mr. Cady.
How do you do?
Miss Mason lives just across the hall.
Yes, so Gladys has told me. Are you a musician, too, Miss Mason?
No, I'm not, Mrs. Cady.
Don't she make you think of Elizabeth Merkel, Fred?
Well, I see what you mean.
She don't me.
And of course, Elizabeth's dark, but there's something about the shape of the face. You know the Merkels, Neil. Mr. Merkel had the skating rink.
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth was a little girl when I knew her.
Well, she's 22 or 3 now. 23, isn't she, Fred?
Well, thereabouts.
Lizzie Merkel's crazy. She's going to marry Lou Carmichael.
Oh, did Grandma say when it was to be? No, I don't think they know themselves. Oh, you knew Lou, didn't you, Neil?
Did they live over on Pine Street?
Why, oh, yes, I think they did.
No, they didn't.
Hush up, Homer, they did. They lived next door to Dr. Endicott.
They did not. They've always lived on Meade Avenue.
Well, I guess I ought to know. Didn't I go and meet his sister once? Remember that tall girl, Mama?
You're crazy.
Oh, Lou used to take Gladys to dances a lot. He was a wonderful dancer. He was with the telephone company.
Charlie Ferris nearly beat him up.
Remember when he and Charlie Ferris were crazy about Gladys? Oh, this girl's had more boys crazy about her, Neil.
Oh, I never cared for either of them.
You never let them think so.
Homer.
Well, tea, Homer?
No, thanks. Tea always sits on me.
Oh, say, Neil, I hear your Uncle James is dead. Leave you anything?
Oh, no, Mr. Caddy. Uncle James never had anything.
Oh, too bad. He was a fine man. Everybody was sorry when he moved to Boston.
Oh, he was nice. We used to sing together in Sunday school when we were children.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You sang in the choir, didn't you, Mrs. Caddy?
Yes.
Mom still sings when she lets herself go.
We call her Gally Kirchy.
Oh, they're always joking me about my voice. But I do love the old hymns. Your father was a good singer, too, Neil.
Well, I guess he was a better lawyer.
Yes, everybody had a great deal of respect for John McRae.
Oh, he was a beautiful character.
He'd give his money away to everybody. Afraid he never made very much, though. Lawyers don't, as a rule. Neil, did you know that when I was a young man, I studied law right in the same office with your father?
No, did you?
Yes, sir. Had it all figured out to be a judge. Judge Cady. Till I found out what was the most a judge could make. No, thanks. I'm not much of a tea drinker. Yes.
Oh, Neil, candy. Oh, all the Cadys eat candy.
And now, if you'll excuse me,
Oh, Cynthia, you're not going.
I'm afraid I must.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, I hope we meet again.
Oh, I just ran in for a moment to be sort of temporary hostess.
Goodbye, Miss Mason.
Goodbye.
She is like Elizabeth.
Yes, well, how are things generally, Neil? Making a lot of money out of your music?
Well, no. With music, you don't make a great deal of money.
No, now, I don't know about that. It's just like any other business. Maybe you're not giving them what they want.
Oh, I guess Neil's doing his best, aren't you, Neil?
Well, I've got to in my business. Of course, I don't claim to know anything about music, but I think I represent about the average viewpoint. Now, what I like is a good, lively tune. Something with a little snap to it. As I understand it, though, you sort of go in for highbrow music,
Well,
eh?
it isn't exactly that, Mr. Cady.
Well, there's no money in it. You know what happened to your father?
Had to scrape all his life.
A young fellow's got to look out for his future, I claim. Got to save up a little money.
Yes, sir.
In some business, Mr. Cady means.
Yes. Now, take my business, for example. We've always got an opening for a bright young fella.
You mean me in your business?
Well, I just mentioned that, for example.
Well, I'm afraid I wouldn't be much good in business, Mr. Cady.
Oh, of course you'd be good, Neil.
Well, I did work in an office once, and I guess I wasn't very...
Now that's all right. You'd learn. You see, the idea is you'd be making money. Someday you'd maybe have a nice interest in the firm. It ain't as though you couldn't write a little music now and then in your spare time, and... well, we'd be sort of all together.
Just like one big family.
Oh, they're playing the Frogs' Party. Come on and dance.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gladys, but I don't dance.
Oh, so you don't. But I'm going to make you learn. I know a wonderful teacher.
Now, there's a great song. A man I played golf with yesterday tells me that for the first 6 months of the fiscal year, that song will make $100,000. Now, write something like that and you're fixed, boy. That's music.
Oh, Albert, come in.
Hello, Neil.
Do you know the Cadys? This is Dr. Rice, Mrs. Cady.
How do you do,
How do you do,
Doctor?
Mrs. Cady?
Miss Cady.
How do you do?
Cady.
Mr. Cady, and
Hello,
How do you
Dr.
do,
Rice.
Cady?
and another
Hello.
Mr. Cady.
How do you do?
Dr. Rice is from Livingston, too.
Oh, really?
well,
Well.
Dr. Rice, I think I've got you placed, Doctor. Was your father, E.J. Rice, in the lumber business?
No, he was an architect.
An architect. You don't say. Put up buildings, did he?
Yes,
Neil.
a few.
Put
Well?
up any
Do you like me better than you do Miss
Why,
Mason?
yes.
Well,
First
I
National.
think she's awful nice.
Don't you think I'm nice, too?
Yes, Gladys, of course.
Because I think you are. You know that, don't you, Neil?
Well, I'm glad.
Oh, so, of course, I want you to think I am.
I do.
Oh, that reminds me.
What is it?
I knew I wanted to ask you something. Which of those do you like best?
Why, they're all very nice.
But don't you like one best?
I don't know. They're all sort of, why?
Because I'd like to get the one you'd like. They're samples, silly. I'm going from here to the dressmaker's to pick one out.
Oh, I see.
Of course, if you don't care what I wear, well, all right.
Well, I do care.
Well, which one would you rather see me in, the blue?
Yes, that'd be nice.
I like the pink one myself.
It's 1:30, Pop.
Oh, yes, so it is. I guess we'll have to be going.
Yes, indeed. Ready, Gladys?
Yes, Mama.
Well, now, don't forget, Doctor. Come and see us if you can.
Thank you.
Or have a round of golf with me sometime. You play golf?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, Neil.
Yes?
Oh, I remember.
I won't go home for dinner if you don't want me to.
Well, I did sort of think I'd do some work.
I'll go with you to a new restaurant I just heard about. I'll only be at the dressmaker's a few minutes, and then you can meet me.
Well, I don't know exactly how I'll be fixed.
I'll telephone you the minute I'm finished.
But, Gladys, I'm going to be tied up, I'm afraid.
Well, anyway, I'll phone.
Come on, Gladys.
All right. I'll telephone you from the dressmaker's when I'm through.
And Neil, you're coming Tuesday, remember?
Oh, yes, thanks. Sorry it couldn't have been a nicer party for you.
Why, it was elegant. Only next time we come, you must play something for us.
Yes.
Well,
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Well, it seems as if there were an awful lot of Cadys.
Have they gone?
Hello, Cynthia.
Hello, Doctor.
Well, how'd you like the Cadys?
Well, they seem to be all right. They must be richer than mud. Did you hear Mrs. Cady on her butlers?
No.
I never heard of anybody having more than one butler before, but the Cadys seem to have them in pairs.
Cynthia, I'll help you take the dishes back.
Neil, there's nothing the matter.
No, except that I'm tired. Must be that pill I took.
Oh, Doctor, why don't you make him rest?
At 5 o'clock?
Neil, please, you should sleep.
All right, but don't go away. I want to talk to you.
He's being difficult. Now go along, Neil. Doctor, I'm glad you're here to take charge of him.
Oh, he'll be all right. Just needs sleep, that's all. I'm not worrying about him physically as much as, well, spiritually.
I know. I've been worrying about it for weeks.
You do see his genius, don't you?
Oh, yes. He has it, if anyone ever had.
And this hack work, it must be killing his spirit.
When I think of his keeping on year after year and And he's such a babe in arms about practical things. He does so need it. Well, we must do something, mustn't we?
Yes, we must. There is a possible way out, you know.
Yes, I know. They were just here.
The Cadys?
Uh-huh.
It's the only way, I'm afraid. I'm sure of it.
But could he be happy?
Well, that's the only way he can be happy permanently, if he's free to write his music. That's the most important thing in the end.
It seems... And yet I'm afraid you're right.
We only hurt people by being sentimental about them. That's one of the first things a doctor learns. Let's put this through. Will you?
Oh, I couldn't.
Oh, you can do more than I can. A woman can always do more than a man about this sort of thing.
Of all the rot, putting a grown man to bed at 5:30.
Whoever accused you of being a grown man? Now, here. Be brave. One swallow and it's over. It's just a little pill.
Oh, all right. Give it to me.
Here. And another before you go to bed. I'll put them here.
You're going?
Yes, I've got to. Dining uptown. I'll look in the morning. You'll be all right then, Neil. Good night, Cynthia.
Goodbye, Doctor.
He's been talking to you about me, hasn't he?
Why, you and other things.
What did he say?
Don't you wish you knew? Curiosity.
I do know. I know exactly. He said the same thing to me. He said I was a failure, practically. That I'd have to depend on other people all my life.
Neil, you're just exciting yourself. You're tired, and you know he wants you.
No, wait. We've got to talk about this, you and I. He said more than that. He said I ought to ask Gladys Cady to marry me. Well, you don't seem surprised.
No, I'm not.
Well, don't you even think it's funny a little bit?
No.
Cynthia. Oh, Cynthia, dear.
Don't, Neil. Please don't.
But Cynthia, don't you know, without my telling you that I love only you, no one else.
Oh, Neil, please.
You know I love you, Cynthia. Why, of course you know. You couldn't help knowing. I thought that maybe you... Well, don't you, Cynthia? Not at all?
Neil, let me tell you something. I have seen that you were growing to care for me, and I've tried to think what I ought to do about it.
Do about it? What can you do about it?
I said to myself, I think he's beginning to care about me more than he ought to, considering how we're both situated and that nothing could come of it. And if I stay here, I mightn't be sensible either, so I'm going away.
What?
And I think it would be the greatest possible misfortune for your music for you to go on this way, living from hand to mouth, so... Well, when Dr. Rice suggested that you marry Miss Cady, it seemed to me a very sensible thing to do.
Cynthia, do you know what you're talking about?
Perfectly.
You can't mean that music or no music, I ought to marry Gladys.
I think you ought to do just that for the sake of your music.
Oh, you're like Albert. You think my music is the only thing about me that's worthwhile.
Oh, Neil.
It never was me that you cared about, only the music.
I want you to be happy, Neil.
Well, I certainly got it all wrong, didn't I? Well, goodbye, Cynthia.
Oh, Neil, don't say goodbye like that.
Well, what other way is there?
Goodbye.
Well, being so sensible and practical, I might as well be practical and sensible, too. My music. Hello?
Hello, Neil.
Oh, well, is the fitting over?
Yes, but it wasn't a fitting.
Well, whatever it was.
I took the pink one.
The pink one. That's fine.
Oh, you don't care which at all.
Oh, of course I care which.
Can you meet me?
Well, I don't think I can do that.
What?
I say I can't go out. The doctor says I must stay in for a while.
Oh, my goodness, are you sick?
No. Just tired. Really, I have to sleep for about an hour, Gladys, that's all.
Oh, dear.
Well, why don't you come up here instead?
Shall I, Neil?
Of course.
Why?
Well, there's something I want to say to you, to ask you. Something we all want. I mean, something I want to ask you.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, well, maybe you do know. We thought, well, that is, I thought, how would you like to marry a great composer?
Oh, darling, do you mean it?
Sure, I mean it.
Of course I'll marry you.
Would you? Honestly?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, well, that's fine. We'll show 'em, won't we?
Who?
Oh, everybody.
Can I tell them?
Yes, tell 'em all, Homer
Oh,
and...
darling, I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm happy, too.
Let me hear you say sweetheart.
How do I have to say it?
Of course.
Well, sweetheart.
Go ahead.
Well, didn't you hear it?
No.
Sweetheart!
Do you love me?
Of course I do.
Well, I'll come over in about an hour.
All right. in about an hour. You come and I'll sleep for an hour. I'll sleep. And that is that. Now go ahead and play. Play the wedding march.
O'Neill?
Huh? Oh, Albert?
Neil, did you forget that you were being married today?
Oh, why, I'm afraid I did. Oh, hello, Gladys. I'm sorry.
Neil, I want you to meet my ushers. They're all boys I used to know pretty well. This is Alf. This is Georgie.
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
This is Steve.
I'm glad to meet you.
This is Fatty.
How do you do?
This is Lou.
I'm glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
This one here is Cousin Harry.
Glad to meet you.
How do you do?
Hurry up now. Let's get at it.
Take this man to be your husband?
Wolverine for Monte Carlo.
Have and hold him?
Yes, I do.
All your worldly goods and chattels?
Latest magazines and papers.
Going off to leave her mama.
Say it's cold here. Ka-choo!
Train pulls out in just a minute.
Both for richer and for richer?
Pasadena, Paris, London.
Better, worser?
Sure I will.
Special car, Apollinaris.
Nothing sold after the train leaves.
Don't know what I'll do without her.
Show your tickets.
Ma, keep still.
Get aboard. I'll tip the preacher.
Right this way, please. Right this way, please.
Get your chocolates and your bonbons.
Oh, my baby.
Oh, good Lord.
Lennox, Palm Beach, Narragansett.
I pronounce you got the ring, Neil?
Betty's lost it. Betty's lost it.
Here's another.
All aboard.
Well, goodbye. Congratulations.
Bye, Gladys. Bye, Gladys.
Send us back a picture postal.
Hope you're happy. Well, goodbye.
Where's that?
We're married, Neil.
Oh,
I'm-
Gladys.
I'm your little bride.
My little bride.
Isn't it all just too wonderful? This is our beautiful home. See? You're going to have everything you've always needed. Mama and Papa both say so.
Oh, do they?
Yes, indeed. You just wait. They'll be here any minute.
They're coming here?
Of course they are. There's lots of people coming, all coming to see our beautiful new home. Wait a minute, I'll show you. Butlers, announce somebody.
Mrs. Cady and her chair and knitting.
Two little lovebirds, Gladys and Neil. Gladys and Neil. Are they happy? Oh, my dear, you never saw anyone so happy. I was saying to Mr. Cady, well, Mr. Cady, I said, what do you think of your little daughter now? How's this for a happy family? And Mr. Cady says to me, well, I never would have believed it. And I says to Mr. Cady, and Mr. Cady says to me, and I says to Mr. Cady, and Mr. Cady says to me, and I says to Mr.
Stop, will you? So you're my wife's mother.
Why, of course she is. I think she's a pretty nice mother-in-law, don't you? Most people don't like their mother-in-laws, but I think she's pretty nice.
Look, is she going to be here always?
Yes, indeed. Won't it be lovely? And that isn't all. Butlers?
Mr. Cady, her father.
Yep. Hello. Well, I'll tell you what to do now. Sell 18 holes and buy all the water hazards. Yep. Hello. Well, now I'll tell you what to do. I expect Cadys will go up any time now. How's that 8th hole this morning? Well, sell it in 3. Yes, sir, that's fine. Yep. Hello. Well, I'll tell you what to do now. You buy...
No. You must stop, both of you. Do you know me?
My son, my new son. Well, Neil, how's the nice music and everything? Making a lot of money?
Are we all going to live together?
Yes, indeed, darling.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
And that isn't all. I've got another surprise for you.
Her brother Homer. He makes me sick. Oh, there you are, you dirty dog. I'm onto you. You married her just because Dad's got a lot of money, and you think you're going to have a cinch. But if you think you're going to get all of Dad's money, you're mistaken, because I'm going to get my share, and don't you forget...
Oh, now, Homer's sick.
Yes, he's sick.
It's all right, dear.
No, it isn't all right. No, it isn't. I don't want the money. All I want to do is write my music. That's what I want to do, work. Do you think I'll be able to?
Why, of course you will, dear. We've just had this whole room done over for you to work in.
It's awfully pretty, Neil.
Yeah, it cost a lot of money, too. Hello? No, wrong number.
Don't you just love it, Neil, keeping house together? Say sweetheart.
Sweetheart.
And next week we're going to have everything done over in some other color. Here are the samples. Now, which color would you like? It's going to be whichever color you like.
Why, anyone.
Make him pick one. Make him pick it.
Here, I'll tell you. You stop in and get the match. Get some of this one and some of that one and maybe some of the other one. On your way home from business tomorrow. It'll give you something to do.
Am I going to business tomorrow?
Oh, yes, sir. Start right in at the bottom and work up. Learn all the ins and outs. Now, lots of people think the ins and outs don't amount to anything, but you can't get anywhere in business without them.
But if I've got to go to business tomorrow, I'd like to work on my symphony now. If you'll only go.
The symphony.
That old thing.
Oh, that's no good.
I wouldn't have it in the house.
But it is good, and I've got to finish it.
Highbrow music, that's what it is.
Well, then, I'll work on the pantomime. That's not so highbrow.
Well, for my part, I like hymns. There's nothing like the old familiar hymns. Rock of Ages, cleft for me.
Anyhow, you can't work now. It's tea time.
Myself in thee. Yes, it's tea time. It is tea time.
Oh, so it is, of course. Hello, don't disturb me now. I'm busy. Tea. Yes, quite a crowd coming this afternoon.
Yes, coming to meet Neil. Yes, Gladys and Neil. Yes, Gladys and Neil.
Now, Neil, you be nice to everybody. I want you to make a nice impression. Play something for us.
Play something for us.
Play something for
All
us.
right. I'll play, but I'll play what I want to, and I don't think you'll like it. Oh, Cynthia, I thought that would bring you. I hoped so.
Of course, Neil, dear.
Cynthia, it was a mistake. I'm terribly unhappy.
I'm so sorry, Neil, because I want you to be happy always.
But I can't be happy with these people. I should have married you, Cynthia. I wanted to, you remember? But you wouldn't. And now, it's too late.
Yes, it's too late, and I'm sorry, too.
Oh, no, I don't want you to be sorry, Cynthia. I don't want you to regret anything. It was all my own fault.
Oh, Neil, don't let your music do that.
I can't help it. It's these people. I'm trying, but I can't help it. No, don't leave me, Cynthia. I need you. Don't leave me with these people. They don't understand. They never can understand.
Neil!
Well, Neil. Starting into work? Oh, you'll like it. You'll learn the ins and outs, the ins and outs, the ins and outs.
Excuse me. Can you tell me where I can learn the ins and outs?
Ins and outs department, room 333 and 1/3. Try and find it.
Thank you. I beg your pardon.
Well,
I want a pencil.
what is it?
I want a pencil.
Who sent you?
I don't know, but I have to have a pencil. I worked in a place like this once before, and I had a great deal of difficulty getting a pencil then. I remember.
It's just as hard to get one here.
Yeah, I thought it would be. I suppose there's a lot of red tape to go through?
Yes, now as I understand it, you want a pencil.
That's right.
Of course, you filled out a requisition.
No, I haven't. A piece of paper, that is, isn't it? But what I place for that to be put in here, I suppose.
Yes, where it says the undersigned wishes a pencil to do some work with. How old are you?
32?
That's the wrong form. Parents living?
No.
What did you do with your last pencil?
I didn't have any.
Did you have any before that?
Well, I don't think I ever had any. Is that all right?
It isn't as regular as we like, but I guess it'll do.
Well, what do I do now? Go to someone else, don't I?
Oh, yes, sometimes you travel for days.
Are we all crazy? Is this room E?
Did you have an appointment?
No, you don't understand. I'm trying to get a pencil.
Well, what do you want to see him about?
It's this. Somebody has to sign it.
Oh. Mr. Bippy, the man is here to see about getting a pencil or something.
No, it is a pencil.
Did you see Mr. Schlink?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Meglup?
Yes.
Well, what did they say?
Why, they seem to think be all right.
Oh, Mr. Bippy. Belong to the Employees Mutual?
Oh, yes.
The Cady Golf and Building Fund?
Yes.
Well, all right.
Oh, thanks. Do I get a pencil now?
Oh, no. It has to be okayed by the president. All requisitions have to be okayed by the president.
Well, is he around here someplace?
Oh, no. He's in a big office. Now, just keep going until you find a great big office.
Where?
Oh, somewhere in the new building. Oh, Mr. Bippy.
The new building. A big office.
So, beg to state.
I beg your pardon.
Hoping to receive your valued order. Yours received.
Would you mind
Mr. Rome will call
if
on
I-
you in Rayar number 2160.
I'm Neil
Yours
McRae,
sincerely,
and
annual sales
is this the
convention,
president's
beg to
office?
state, Beg to state, pursuant to your instructions.
Excuse me.
FOBR,
Excuse me.
Well, what is it?
Beg to state,
I want to
as per
see the
your
president.
terms and
Well, what do you want to see him about?
and beg for- Why, Neil.
Well, here I am, Mr. Cady. At work.
Yes, sir. Business. Big business.
Yes, big business. What business are we in?
Widgets. We're in the widget business.
The widget business.
Yes, sir. I suppose I'm the biggest manufacturer in the world of overhead and underground aerial widgets. Miss Yu,
Yes, sir.
let's hear what our business was during the first 6 months of the fiscal year. The annual report, Neil.
The turnover in the widget industry last year was greater than ever. If placed alongside the Woolworth building, it would stretch to the moon. The operating expenses alone would furnish every man, woman, and child in the United States, China, and similar places with enough to last for 18.5 years if laid end to end.
There. How's that?
That's wonderful.
And wait for September 17th.
Why?
That's to be National Widget Week. The whole country.
Oh, that's fine, but what I came up about...
Oh, never mind about that now. We've got more important things. Conferences, mostly. Miss Yu, any good conferences today?
One at 3:10 this afternoon.
Oh, that's fine. Ever been to a conference, Neil?
No, but I've heard a lot about them.
Oh, they're great. You make speeches and decide things, and nobody can get in while they're going on.
Already, they're going to start the conference. The conference. The conference.
Fine. Come right in, gentlemen. Now the overhead. We're going to have a conference. Both the doors out there. Gentlemen, this is our annual quarterly meeting. Now, I want to introduce a young man who's been showing great promise in our factory. I don't know what he will have to say to you.
I know what to say. I remember now. I know exactly what to say.
Gentlemen, Mr. Neil McRae.
I know you must be surprised to see so young a man stand up before you. But I have trained myself to occupy the position I am now in. I have learned my facts. That is how I happen to own my own home. It simply took up my spare time in the evenings. Then one day, the head of the factory came through the room where I happened to be working on a very difficult piece of machinery. "Who is that?" he asked the foreman. "He seems to be brighter than the others." "Not at all," answered the foreman. "He has simply applied himself, and I think we must raise his pay if we want to hold him." A few weeks later, I was able to solve in 5 minutes a problem that had puzzled the best brains in our organization. And I am now the head of my department, and my old foreman is working under me.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I knew he could do it. Gentlemen, he has saved us millions.
Why, he's going to be the biggest man in the organization.
Yes, the very biggest. What do you say to signing up with us for 10 years at $500,000 a year?
And becoming sales manager.
How about a bonus?
Oh, yes, a bonus.
Here's my check for $100,000.
And here's mine, $200,000.
And mine for $100,000. And mine 100,000.
Oh, thank you. It's an awful lot of money, isn't it?
$1 million.
$1 million?
Well, gentlemen, that was a dandy conference.
One of the best.
Let's have another.
Yes, sir. Manual report. Yes, sir.
I mean,
Did you have a hard day at the office, Neil?
oh, here they are, Gladys. Checks. It's $1 million, I think.
Oh, good. I always knew you'd be a big success, Neil.
But I'm not doing what I want to do. My music. I want to write my music.
Oh, not now. It's time to go somewhere. We're going to dance.
No, I've got to write my music. I want to go home now.
Oh, nobody ever goes home. We're going to go to dance.
But we've got to eat dinner first.
Of course, we're going to eat right here.
In this restaurant again? We were here last night and the night before. You don't want to come here every night, do you?
Why, of course I do. Suppose it is expensive. You can afford it now. Nobody comes here but the best people. We'll come here every night from now on. They have the nicest little lamps on the table.
Bonsoir. How many, please?
Two.
Two?
Two.
Two?
Why, hello, Albert.
Hello, Neil.
Oh, yes, you were a waiter at college, weren't you? You know Gladys?
Of course.
How many, please?
2.
2?
Yes, 2.
I will see if I can find you a table. All our reserved tables are reserved. Right this way, please. Here's a nice one, right by the window. Yes, madame. Yes, sir.
See, Neil, isn't it wonderful? Order. Albert's waiting. Hurry up. You've got to order.
Well, I can't decide right away.
Perhaps madame would care for some Bordelaise à la Bordelaise, or some Bordelaise à la some Bordelaise, or some Bordelaise à la Bordelaise.
Why, yes, I'd like that.
And what will monsieur have?
What is Bordelaise à la Bordelaise?
Very nice, sir.
Yes, I know, but what is it?
It's served in a little round dish. Very nice.
Can't I find out what it is?
I'll see if anybody knows, sir.
Neil.
Well?
People don't do that, making a scene in a
But
restaurant.
Gladys, I only want to know what it is.
But you must pretend that you know. That's the thing.
I'm sorry, sir. Nobody knows.
Well, doesn't matter. I'll take it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is it going to be like this always?
What?
Our life?
Why, I think it's wonderful. You're going ahead being a big success in Papa's office, and every night we'll go out and dance. You'll have to learn.
I won't dance. I don't want to dance. I would never have had to dance if I hadn't married you. If I hadn't married you.
Well, I don't care whether you dance or not. I'm going to dance. I'll dance with the waiter. If you hadn't married me, you'd have starved to death. Starved to death. Starved to death. Starved to death.
Oh, I don't think so. I might have been poor, but we both have had work to do. It's a small house, I know, but the sun finds it the first thing every morning. And you know, flowers live longer in our windows than anywhere else because she cares for them. Cynthia?
I'm coming.
Are you coming, or must I use force?
It's the toast machine. You sit down and begin.
As though I'd ever begin without you. Besides, I have something beautiful for you. See what I've done?
What?
Oh, nothing at all. Merely created an utterly beautiful morning.
You did. I started that an hour ago.
Well, perhaps. But you see those little powder puff clouds? They weren't there 10 minutes ago.
They are nice, darling. I didn't think you were so clever.
And wait till you see the sunset I'm planning.
You can't beat last night's. What a scarlet.
Yeah, it blushed because we flattered it so.
Darling.
What?
A letter.
Well, didn't you dare open it?
No, but let's be brave. Now, 1, 2, 3. Do you believe it?
No. Do you?
Darling.
Darling.
But it must be real. It's typewritten.
Your symphony will be played by our orchestra on December the 10th. Darling!
Darling, they'll applaud and applaud. You'll have to come out and bow.
I won't do it.
You'll have to have a new dress suit.
And you'll have to have a new evening dress, yellow chiffon, too. I can do that darned orchestrations now. I can do 100 of them between now and October.
No, you won't.
But my youngest child, we must continue to eat.
But, my dear, we're extremely wealthy. Have you seen my new housekeeping book?
No.
Now, this is serious. This is finance. Listen. To Mrs. Neil McRae, debtor. 97 dozen eggs from the Little Red Hen at 79 a dozen, 97.79. 446 quarts of milk from the Little Dun Cow at 64, 464. 36 pots of jonquils sold Mr. Frost the florist at 36.66, 666.66. And there's the total.
But, Cynthia, that can't be right. It's impossible.
Add it up for yourself.
Well, let's see. 63 and 8 are 42.
It means we're billionaires, that's all.
We have $177.77.
And we can keep on just as we have been doing.
Cynthia, do you suppose any two people ever?
No, I don't believe any two people ever.
Neil?
Oh,
Neil?
Cynthia, it's calling me.
What?
I don't know. I must go to it.
I'll go along.
You can't, my dear. Oh, it's too absurd.
Neil?
Oh, goodbye, Neil. Neil. Neil.
Don't go, Cynthia.
Neil?
Yes, Gladys. What is it?
Come on, sweetheart. We're going home now. Tip the waiters. Tip the waiters.
For heaven's sake, stop that dancing.
I should say not. Tip the waiters. Tip them big. Tip them big.
Albert, you got me into this. You've got to tell me how I'm going to get out of it.
What's the matter?
I can't stand it. I can't live with Gladys any longer. What am I going to do about her?
Why, that's easy.
What do you mean?
Just kill her, that's all.
Kill her?
Of course, it's simple and practical.
Well, do you know I never thought of that? Say, I'm not very practical, am I?
No, you're not.
Well, of course, I wouldn't like to do it unless it were absolutely necessary.
Still, it's worth thinking about.
Yes, it is.
We're going home now. Tip the waiters. Did you tip them all? We're going home. Mama and Papa will be there. And Homer. Oh, Neil, isn't it nice to be in our own home again? Bringing in
Pour.
the ship.
Everybody,
Neil,
pour.
I've
got the
Pour,
radio
everybody.
fixed. I've
Pour.
got the radio
Isn't
fixed.
it nice
Pour,
to be in our
everybody.
own home
Radio
again?
fixed.
Pour.
I got the radio.
Pour,
Isn't
everybody.
it nice to be in our own home again?
Pour, everybody.
I wish you'd keep still.
Neil, do you realize how you're behaving?
I do. And I won't go on with this any longer. If this is to be our life together, then I can't stand it. I won't, that's all, I won't.
Neil, after all I've done for you, after all Papa's done for you.
Done for me. You've ruined me, that's all. You've given me a lot of money that I didn't want, and you won't let me do the one thing that I want to do. Well, now I'm going to write my music. I'm going to finish my symphony.
Oh, no, you're not. There's your old symphony. Now what have you got to say?
You tore it up. It was the only reason I married you, and you tore it up. All right, there's only one thing to do.
Neil, what are you going to do?
I'm going to kill you.
Why, no, you've done it.
It was her fault. She killed my work.
She was a sweet girl. The police will get you. Rock of ages, clear for me. Let me hold.
Stop that singing.
I won't.
And
Let
stop
the
knitting.
Lord- I won't. Blessed be the tie that binds our heart.
Why, this is outrageous. The idea of killing a man's daughter and wife. I'm ashamed of you.
You're to blame, too, just as much as the others. Look,
What is it?
you're dead. You're dead, too. Well, thank heavens they're all out of the way. Peace, I can work at last.
Is that so? I guess you forgot all about me, didn't you?
Forget you? Indeed I didn't. Homer, my boy? I guess that ends that. Free, free.
Free nothing. We'll sue you for this, you dirty dog.
Keep quiet, you're dead.
The prosecuting attorney.
Oh, it's you, Homer.
Yes, and this is a court of law. I'll get you now, you dirty dog.
I think not.
Come now. We can't be all day at this. I've got to get back to the office. Now, just what were these murders all about?
On such and such a blank date, the defendant, Neil Wadsworth McRae, did brutally murder, maim, assault, destroy, stab, injure, kill, and cause the death of Gladys Virginia Cady, his wife, Mr. Cady, her father, Mrs. Cady, her mother, and Homer Cady, her brother, destroying one and all of the aforesaid Gladys Virginia Cady, his wife, Mr. Cady, her father, Mrs. Cady, her mother, and Homer Cady, her brother, by the use of a large paper knife of bone manufacture and curious design, a picture of which appeared in the newspapers at the time. Having caused the death of
Quiet, please. Some of us would like to hear what he's saying.
I therefore call upon the court to punish said Neil Wadsworth McRae in one of two ways prescribed by law: death or hard labor for life, whichever they do in this state.
Oh, no. Is that so? Now, you've got to wait, Homer. I insist.
The state rests.
Oh, are you all right, Homer?
I guess so, Mother.
Oh, Homer's sick. He was always delicate, but he was a good boy, though. When Homer wanted to be, he was as good a boy as you'd find in a month of Sundays. There was no reason on earth why Neil shouldn't have allowed him to live.
You are his mother.
Yes, sir.
You were also a victim, I believe.
That's right. You heard how he did it. With a paper knife.
Oh, yes. You see, we're trying him today.
For the murders?
Yes.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I wouldn't have intruded if I'd known.
Wait a minute. I'd like to have Mrs. Cady take the stand, please.
Who, me?
If you don't mind.
What? Going to make her take a stand, a mother?
Over here, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, and the truth?
Yes.
Well, you can't tell the truth unless you raise your hand, you know.
No?
No. You're Mrs. Cady, aren't you?
Yes. Oh, is that right, Fred?
Yes, that's all right.
Now then, Where were you on Friday, June 3rd?
Knitting.
But you used to sing in the choir, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Just as I am without one plea. Just...
Silence in the court.
Prove an alibi.
I object, Your Honor.
Objection sustained and overruled. Answer the question.
What was it?
Prove an alibi.
What kind?
Well, I didn't know there were any different kinds.
Oh, yes, there are several different kinds of alibis.
Well, then prove any kind.
Your Honor, I object.
Quiet! Good heavens, how can I think if the jurors are going to... Your Honor, they must be quiet.
Quiet.
But it's candy, Mr. Cady.
Oh, really?
Oh, Candy. Hello, Neil. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just ran in to get the boys. We're going dancing. There's a big new place opening tonight, and they're going to take me there. Got some money, Papa?
10,000 enough, Gladys?
Oh, thanks. Come on, boys.
No, wait. You mean you want to take them away with you?
Of course.
But I'm being tried for the murders, and if you take the jury away...
I'm sorry, Neil, but I couldn't miss the opening, could I? Are you ready?
No, she can't do that, can she?
What?
Take the jury away, right in the middle of things.
Well, she can if it's habeas corpus.
Well, is it?
It's beginning to look that way.
But it isn't fair. They've got to hear my music.
Well, are you ready to bring in a verdict? All in favor will say...
No, wait. I'm not through. You haven't heard the music yet.
Oh, yes, that's right. Now, you're going to play for us.
Why, of course. That's why I killed them, on account of the music. I want to prove that I was justified. Listen, you won't blame me when you've heard the music. This is a symphony in C minor.
Verdict. I second the motion.
It is moved and seconded that we bring in a verdict. Remarks? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is carried.
Well, what sort of verdict do you want to bring in? There are several kinds of verdicts.
I move we bring in a verdict of guilty.
I second that motion.
It is moved and seconded that we bring in a verdict of guilty. Remarks? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Well, I guess the motion's carried.
See, Neil? I told you so.
Well, Mr. Cady, what are you going to do with me?
This thing of using the imagination has got to stop. Now, we're going to make you work in the right way. You see, your talents belong to us now, and we're going to use every bit of them. We're going to make you the most wonderful songwriter that ever lived.
Oh, but I can't write that kind of music. You know I can't.
You can do it by our system. You are sentenced to be at the Cady Consolidated Art Factory at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Art?
At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the manufacturing department. In this cage, we have Walter Carp Smith, the world's greatest novelist.
How are you?
In this one, Finley Jameson, the world's greatest magazine artist.
How are you?
In this next cage, James Lee Rex, the world's greatest poet.
How are you?
The cages beyond are devoted to science and religion. Mr. Cady was the first person in the world to put religion up in 10-cent packages, selling direct to the consumer.
You don't say so.
He also prides himself on having the largest output of literature and music in the world. He's going to open 2 more plants the first of the month. And here, gentlemen, is Mr. Neil McRae, America's foremost composer.
Who's that in back?
That's his lyric writer. You will now see how they work. What kind of a song will it be, McRae?
A pathetic.
A pathetic. Go!
You've broken my heart like you broke my heart, so why should you break it again?
That particular song will sell 1.5 million.
I suppose you write other kinds of songs, too.
Yes, mammies, sweeties, and fruit songs. The ideas are brought from the inspiration department every hour on the hour. After I turn them into music, they are taken into the purifying department, then to the testing and finishing rooms. Then they are packed for shipment.
A wonderful system.
I should say so.
Do you work all the time?
No, the night shift comes on at 8.
How long have you been here?
For years and years.
Say, will you write another song for us, just as a souvenir?
Oh, why don't you all go away?
What's that? What was that? You get busy there and write another song.
No, I've been writing forever. I'm tired of it.
Do you want me to call Mr. Cady?
I don't care. I don't care what you do.
I'll give you one more chance.
No, I won't.
All right, then. Mr. Cady! Mr. Cady!
Well, what's the matter here?
McRae says he won't go on.
Oh, he won't, eh? Well, we'll see about that.
I can't, I tell you. I can't keep on at this sort of thing.
You know your sentence, don't you? You've got to work our way until you die.
Until I die? I can be free from you if I die? Well, I can die. You can't keep me from that. That's how I can get away from you. Open the door. Open that door. Why, it was never locked. Cynthia! Cynthia! I'm free. I can die. Cynthia, how are we going to do it?
Hello, Neil. We'll go to an executioner. I know a good one. You mustn't be afraid. It won't hurt.
Well, will we have to wait long?
No. You're next.
Well, oughtn't we to have a block?
No, we'll use this chair. It'll be more comfortable.
Oh, and you'll stay with me.
Always. Albert will give you a pill.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Albert.
Hello, Neil. Got a glass of water?
We're ready, Doctor.
Is the light all right?
I think so.
There's that music again.
Oh, you're nervous, that's all. Here, take this pill.
Now, it can't possibly hurt you.
Here we are. That's it. Way back. Right?
Shall I take off my collar?
Oh, no. There's room, I think.
Just a once through, please.
Of course. It'll all be over in a minute.
Cynthia,
Yes.
I was afraid you'd gone.
No, dear. Are you ready, Neil?
Yes, dear, except for that music. Charles I didn't have any music.
He's ready, Doctor.
Don't go away, Cynthia.
All ready.
Goodbye. See you soon.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah. You'll be with me always, won't you, Cynthia?
Always.
All right.
Cynthia, are you there?
Yes, darling.
And now the execution. And now, chop off his head.
Oh, yes?
Is anything the matter, Neil? I thought I heard you talking.
It didn't hurt. Was it a success?
Neil, are you all right?
I need you, Cynthia.
Oh, Neil, do you? Are you sure you do? I couldn't stay away, Neil. I tried to, but I couldn't. Because I need you, too. I just couldn't give you up to anyone else on earth.
Oh, Cynthia, dear.
I've been sitting out on a bench in the square trying to think out what it would mean, what it would do to you.
I know. Widgets.
That would be worse for you than any amount of poverty.
Poverty in our cottage?
Did you think of the cottage, too?
Of course, I live there.
We could manage. I know quite a lot about raising chickens.
A little red hen and a little dun cow.
Yes, we might have a cow. Have you been thinking about it, too?
Well, let's say dreaming. Oh, it was terrible, Cynthia. Do you know? I dreamed I was married to her. And so we conclude Beggar on Horseback, a play by George S. Kaufman and Marc Connelly.